wide that thing is.
What if I was on the full medium?
Oh my, that's a big
Fish.
Limp. That's what I've been waiting for all day. That's over 6. Oh. That's a good fish. Donkey. That's a heavy spot. Oh my God, please get the net. Please get the net. I got you, buddy.
That was the weirdest one ever. There you go. What the? Oh yeah, he's got another 4.5.
Oh my God, this might be it. If I can land this fish. Holy sh! 5.06. She's thick. Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy! What a beast! Dude, that's it! That's it! 4 pounds smaller. I need a picture. Oh wow! That might be a 4. That might be a 4. Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off to 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy! Trailer just getting that. Yeah? Yeah. Dude, that's unbelievable. That's it.
He's still swimming. What happened to Mick?
Yup. 5.3. Sorry for freaking out. My first fish of the year. There we go. That's a big fish. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes! 4.14 though. Gee. Not too shabby.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Caprillion. No, I'm Sean. How you doing?
Good evening.
That's about as New England gets right there.
Al Caprillion. I met him twice.
Was he a good dude?
The first time he was a good dude. The second time he seemed like he had enough of kids.
Oh. You know, especially like a kid like you coming up, I can imagine.
Hey, you old man. Kick him in the shin.
I'm an old man. 38 now. The old 3.8 over the weekend. Coming closer and closer to that 40. Find the hill. As my dad said when I gave him shit when he was about to turn 40. He was like, yeah, we're supposed to go over the hill, but nobody told us where it is yet.
It's up there. Keep climbing.
I like that. I'm going to stick with that. Oh, who do we have in the chat tonight? We have, oh God, Gordy, Dave, G. Hayes, Gone Bassin, Kevin, Sean. Oh boy. Oh, Tim, hey friend. Sean, yep, nope. Tammy, Mike, Northeast Mark, Alec, Josh. We need to talk, friend.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Josh Herding. And Scott, Dogbone, and I just saw him. Brian, Dan's here, Sarah Altitude. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Wednesday night? Every Wednesday night is fantastic. Dixie Fishing, how you doing? Glad you could join us.
Hola.
For everybody that's here, if you haven't done so yet, although doing a lot better than usual, drop a like on the stream, please, if you haven't yet. It helps more than you know. And we're gonna talk a little bit about everything tonight. Wouldn't necessarily call it an open topic night per se, but it's kind of along those lines. I feel like
everything and nothing.
Not where it needs to be.
We're just gonna do a lot of this. Hello.
We do have probably the easiest weekend fishing report of our storied career to date.
What did we do?
Nothing. We literally didn't fish.
Oh yeah, we didn't. What the hell did I do? Oh yeah, I went and saw Avatar.
Wait, you actually went and saw it?
Oh yeah.
How was it?
3D. It was really good. It was just extremely long.
Yeah.
And I got very uncomfortable in like the first hour and a half.
Oh.
My back was like, it's not that comfortable. I look over at Ash and I was like, we can go if you want. She's like, no, we're staying for the whole thing. All right. She's like, you wanted to go. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's your idea. All the way through. Yeah, so this weekend for anybody it wasn't, I don't know, the wind was ridiculous. I actually got like snow and sleet down south on the Cape. The only other spot I could have fished in New Hampshire was just not really going to be ideal for it. So I was just like, you know what? I really need to finish my basement. I have a problem where we go fishing, right? All year.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, there's just baits everywhere. Like I have these little white bins over here that you can't quite see, and I've got pegboards everywhere, and like been on these little white bins. Like every time we go fishing, I just throw stuff in the day box, and I come home and I take it out. Like the night before I go fishing on Sunday, the next weekend, and I'm like, I need everything else, and I don't like reorganize everything. That's what I was trying to do this weekend. Got pretty close, not bad. Who else just jumped in here? Bassmore, hello, Bob, Mike, way past 40, can't even see in the rear view. I love it. Spring shad spawn, what's your go-to bait? Spinnerbait or weighted weedless swim bait around laydowns?
You don't have shad, but
Yeah, but you know what? I would
spinnerbait and maybe like a lipless.
I mean, either one of those you really can't go wrong. Honestly, I'd have both rigged up. I'd give them 2 different presentations. But if that wind is even tickling out there, I always have a spinnerbait tied on in the spring because it just works. I mean, even in cold water, like my threshold for where I start slinging it with greater and greater confidence gets a little bit colder every year. And I actually did pretty good with it this year in like 45-degree water, which I was pretty impressed with. Usually I wait till it's like 50, and then it starts doing really, really well. But I feel like I can make it work as you get closer to 40. But if it's that cold, then I go to a jackhammer, bladed jig, chatterbait, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, Josh hit it right. Nail right in the head. Swim jig, spinnerbait, chatterbait.
If you're fishing a place that has shad in it, I would not steer away from crankbaits.
Truth.
Those come in very handy in shad-filled lakes.
Yep. See, Bassmore knows us. Right there with you. Anytime I can't put a spinnerbait down. Anytime there's any sight of wind, any slight wind, any time of the year. Wholeheartedly agree. It's just it's wonderful. Yeah, more snow coming. So that could throw a wrench in the works for this weekend's plans.
Not much. If you're up where I was today, you're getting about 6 inches. But other than that, you're not going to get that much.
Drove from friggin' Milford to Colebrook, New Hampshire, and back. 7 hours.
7 hours. Up. I was out of the truck for about 10 minutes, got back in the truck, picked up a side-by-side, and I came right back.
That's basically the same thing as when we go to Champlain, although you didn't have the the joy of fishing.
I didn't have the 8-hour break. I just up 3.5 hours, back down.
Oh, I really hope. I mean, right now, looking down south, it's not going to be too bad. But I didn't want to drive south. I wanted to go try the spot in New Hampshire finally, but it is what it is. Just how it goes. Hey, by the way, reminder, we're on Spotify now. I think we're caught up to this is episode 95. I think we have episode 91 or 92, I forget, on Spotify now. There's 4 episodes on Spotify. What we're doing is, basically, after this is all done, we're going to take the time and try to record like a 30-second intro because the way that we start this show doesn't really translate well to how I feel it should start on Spotify. And we're kind of trying to help, I don't know, like, just for those, like, for any new members or viewers that come, like, they can't come here and, like, watch and, like, it makes sense because we're interacting with you live. So we do this, like, quick little thing, then there's, like, a little 10-second, like, music clip, the logo, and then it goes into some very, very light editing from the stream into what is up on Spotify. It ends up being, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes shorter, depending upon what we do. Clean up the beginning, clean up the end, bada bing, bada boom. There's 2 things about that, though. One, not only are we on Spotify, but we also have the video uploads on there, too. So if you guys wanted to, like, people that end up, like, we have plenty of people that show up every night that can't stay for the whole thing. But if you wanted to watch the video portion of it in a more convenient manner, and you can't get on YouTube with your phone for whatever reason, there is Spotify, and the video feed is on there as well. So there's that. If you guys are interested, it is Real Northern Bass on Spotify. You can search us there. There should be a link to it, I think in the description. If I didn't put that in there, that's a major failure on my point. But anyway, now you know. Be great. Grat, thanks for joining us. Dixie Fish, what'd you say? A buddy of mine in the Cape does well in winter on spinnerbait. Slowly tick the bottom. Yeah, I can see that working really well. That is fun. What did Mark say? I think the spinnerbait gets overlooked by a lot of people these days with the popularity of chatterbait. But I still always have one tied on.
Just a popular, just chatterbait. I'd say just like the whole big swim bait thing alone.
Yeah.
People kind of steer away from like the real conventional fishing techniques. And I mean, if that's your route, you want to go only big baits, that's cool, but you're missing out on a lot of fish.
True. And you know what? That actually brings up what would be a phenomenal topic that we could tackle for a little bit is baits, like baits and or techniques that have gone by the wayside for whatever reason that are still like stupidly good. That people just Like, I can tell you right now, the tube, I feel like has really fallen off in like popularity and or use with like a lot of people I know.
Either that or they're just not mentioning it.
Yeah, but like, you know, especially when I bring it up, everyone's like, yeah, I just like they'll talk. Went out, did smallmouth, whatever, and I threw all this and I had a great day. I'm like, oh, cool. Did you get any of the tube? And they're like, oh, I haven't even thrown that in like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And
Guess what? It still works.
it still slays. I haven't gone a year without throwing a tube. I want to dive into that a little bit further, but I want to get back to the chat a little bit. Bass Moore from Maryland. Nice, dude. That's awesome. And thank you for joining the channel, by the way. We appreciate you. How far north? We're in essentially Milford, New Hampshire. So we're very, very close to like the Mass, New Hampshire line. We're lowlanders.
Smack dead center.
East to west.
We're literally right here on the map.
Yeah, but that's in the water.
It's a bass fishing channel. We should be in the water.
All right. Touche. Touche.
But yeah, we're literally right there.
Yeah. We're just a stone's throw away from the state line and about dead center east-west. So it's actually kind of nice. Getting out of this area sucks. It's like kind of landlocked. There's just no good roads out. But on the plus side, we are like perfectly positioned to be able to fish damn near all year round. And a day trip to Candlewood, 3 hours. A day trip to Champlain, depends on which end you go, but like to the north end, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on how far north you want to go. We're going to go to Maine. What, hour and 15 minutes to the border? 2.5 hours roughly to Portland. So like, how many freaking lakes are between us and Portland?
A lot.
100?
At least. In Maine? Dude,
Yeah.
it's like every football distance away from another. like
Stacked
skinny
like
wise.
cordwood.
There's another lake. It's ridiculous.
We're an hour and a half in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, so like your Lake Winnipesaukee and stuff. We're about as well centrally located as we could be to be able to travel a lot, which is what we do a ton of, but also, keep it going during the winter and drive down towards Cape Cod area. Plenty of options in the winter. It's phenomenal. Hide that. And oh, thank you, Tammy. All right, I'll make sure I update that. I'll get a link in there moving forward. I know I did go back and I put it like in a pinned comment in a lot of the recent streams, so there's at least that. So I'll have to throw it up in there. At some point when Andrew's talking, I'll grab it, I'll throw it in the chat, and I'll pin it. Hey, Z20 didn't catch. Ooh, Alec, I didn't catch a single fish on the spinnerbait this year. We're in a fight at the moment, dude. That was me last year. How many times did I like come home pouting on the drive home because I threw the spinnerbait in like ideal conditions? They just wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, a few times.
A few times, a few too many times.
Yeah.
Hey Carter. Yeah. So here we go. This is perfect. All right, let's turn it back to that topic. Really, like popular, like once extremely popular baits or techniques that have fallen by the wayside.
So it was funny. I was watching FLW last night.
Yep.
And they were fishing. It was, I forget what lake it was, but it was, the lake was down like 17 feet or something like that. One of those Tennessee, like reservoir lake, whatever, full of shad and this, that, and the other.
Oh, yeah.
But one dude, they were working this bank, and I was like, dude, you got to throw a jig down that. You got to throw a jig down that. As soon as the dude picks up a jig, he starts slaying it. And I was like, I wonder if, I bet you could get away with using a Carolina rig on that. And the next clip, he's like, I'm going to try Carolina rig. Toss one, caught one on it, caught another one on it, caught another one on it, got back up into second. It was pretty cool. I was just kind of calling the shots as they were going.
When was that?
What?
I'm trying to think when the
FLW?
Yeah,
it was like that last chance
wait,
qualifier.
FLW.
Whatever. It was like 8 of them, or it was 8 people. I think the top 6 move on, the bottom 2 fall out or whatever. I forget. It was a cool little tournament. They count every fish, and everybody's fish was like a pound, between a pound and like a pound and 14 ounces. If someone got a 2-pounder, it was just like, what? It was pretty cool.
Pin that. So, and then coming back to Mark, Carolina rig, tube, and buzzbait. Out of those, I would say the tube has probably fallen off in popularity the most. You're a slob.
I have a hole in my leg.
If I'm going to go in order of things that, in my opinion, that I think have fallen off the wayside the hardest, tube is number 1. No, I take that back. Buzzbait, number 1. Tube, number 2, though they're very close in my opinion. And then third would be Carolina rig, because I think still a good amount of people still fish it, but certainly not like they used to. And those are like, I'm trying to think back, like when our our friend there that we know, Todd, Fishing Grubs, when he started getting really into the big swim baits, we also fished together a lot. And same with Chris there, Mr. Tight Lines, and they got into like big wake baits. They're getting, and then doing like the giant whopper ploppers and stuff. And we were just talking about that one day, and I was like, those are all great, and I love them, but you should really keep throwing a buzz bait too. And they were just like, I don't know, these things work really, really good. And it was just like, I wouldn't even call it a difference in opinion. It was just like, I could already start to see it. And this was like 5 years ago now.
Starting to disappear. People are kind of getting lost in the new big thing coming out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's cool. I'll use those for sure.
And we do. And we go down that road. I'm
still going to use everything else that I've been using that have always been catching me fish.
Yep.
It's like,
dude, it's still one of my favorite things. You get in like a nice, good area with like some thick pads. You get that like one perfect line coming right down the middle of it. Like, I'm going to throw a buzzbait through that every time. You get like that nice, like kind of wider cut channel. Throw a buzzbait right down that every time.
Frog or like. One thing I have noticed that has fallen off that I don't really see a lot of people, especially up here, using are poppers. Just regular old poppers.
Yeah, seriously. Mm-hmm. And they're phenomenal for those smallmouth. Like, really, when they're busting up on like just any kind of bait that gets up a little higher in the water column.
Right.
Yeah, no, poppers still. I think that might actually be one of the most overlooked topwater baits now.
So just the old school, practically a cork popper.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Dixie fishing. Tube slays for me all year, winter fishing, summer, fall, always have one tied on. So I used to do really well with it in the winter, and then I had one winter where like we just had a few other baits that like you could not put them down because it was just stupid what we were catching them on. And now for like the last 2 winters, I haven't dragged a tube much. And when we were out on Champlain 2 weeks ago, I remember saying at one point, I was like, I should be dragging a tube up here. And I didn't even stop to time it on because at that point, the bite had died hours before, and we didn't have much time left. I'm like, I'm just too lazy to tie this right now.
It's just I already have a jig tied on. Whatever, I'll just throw that.
Yeah, well, I also knew that I didn't have the rod that I wanted to set it up on anyway. Like, it wasn't configured the way I want for the way I really like to throw a tube, especially dragging it out deep. And I also knew that I forgot my tube box at home. So, like, I had 3 backup bags, but none of them were the right color. Like, I'm still got my summer colors in there. I was probably overthinking it, to be honest. But when do I ever do that? All the time.
Never overthought anything.
Dan, how can a tube fall from grace in the Northeast to smallmouth factories? Because a lot of people went to the Ned rig. That's my opinion. And the Ned rig is phenomenal. And I know it's I have jokingly said it's like the new version of the wacky rig. Because it's essentially the same thing for what most people do with it, right? You can just bomb that thing out, let it sink, and pop, nothing, reel it in, repeat. And typically you're throwing on like, those 1/10 or 1/20th ounce heads, really, really slow fall rate. And a lot of people just throw it because it works. But it's like, there's a lot of instances where I think if that's working, you should be throwing a tube. For people that are still just throwing a Ned rig and not throwing a tube, you should absolutely be throwing a tube. That is still one of my, like, bar none best producing baits in the spring for smallmouth. It has yet to fail me.
What, tube?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Freaking awesome. If you're not throwing a tube, go buy some.
Yeah.
And you'll learn why.
I put some good money fish in the boat over the years, too. I think my biggest highlight for a tube was my friend Travis and I fished a New Hampshire Bass Nation double down on Newfound Lake several years ago now. 54 boats. We had the second heaviest bag of the day. And 2 of the fish I had that I brought to weigh in, and one of them was the second biggest we had in the bag that day, was on a tube. Still works. Still phenomenal. I know it's kind of like an outlier thing, but it's still good. Should be throwing it. Hey, David and Grat. This is a perfect, absolutely perfect example. Lizard with a 1/8 bullet sinker overlooked and still catch them in tough conditions.
What was this? Sorry.
Texas rig lizard.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I literally grew up doing that. 4-inch rubber worms and lizards. That's what I grew up doing until I was like 20 years old. 18 or 20, I forget. No, because it was in college. Yeah, I was 20 or even maybe 21, and I finally was like, I'm tired of throwing the same thing my dad taught me since I was a kid. And this is where we are now. Literally because I got tired of throwing a Texas rig worm and a Texas rigged lizard. I was definitely in college because I remember one of the highlights of like, I'm tired of doing this and I need to learn something new. I was working a landscaping job in the summer. I think it was between my sophomore and junior years, and it was right on the lake. We were building like these beautiful stone retaining walls, stone patios, the whole 9 yards. And it's a designated trout pond in New Hampshire, but there's there's a lot of good fish in there. And I remember all of a sudden looking down, and it was, I'm trying to think. I think it was in June, because it was like right after my year had ended, which was always like late May. And this wolf pack of like 3, 4, and I promise you 5-pound freaking largemouth came through. And they were just roaming the shallows on this, sand flat right outside the customer's house. And we brought our fishing rods. We fished every single day after work for the 2 or 3 weeks we were on that job. And I remember I had those stupid Gulp Alive Texas rig, or lizards. That was Texas rig. I threw it at it, and the whole school all turned and like corralled it, looking at it. And finally one, and I don't remember how big it was, but one of them came in, and it like nose down on it, kind of like just kind of popped at the tail. And then the whole school collectively was just like, nah. But that was that turning point for me. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like, clearly they wanted to eat, and I didn't have the right thing, but I don't know what I'm doing. I need to learn. At that point, I was still fishing out of a freaking canoe and a John boat, which is...
I still do.
I think about it. Back in 2005 or 2006. I think it would have been summer of 2005. Damn. Getting old.
Yeah.
When was the last time you threw a Texas rig lizard? Not a Carolina rig. We do that plenty. A Texas rig lizard.
Last year.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
My swells.
He's lying. Oh, I can't believe you dropped that.
Place is overfished anyway.
Ben, I hope you can snag me a swanky swim bait from Swim Bait Universe next weekend. Good luck with that. Mark, Ned rigs and drop shot have become more popular. Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. When we're talking about specifically with the tube, Bassmore, is that the new MLF? Yep. Oh, dude, I'm way behind. Let's get it up here.
Yeah, I believe so.
But to put your father behind Andrew and Sean. Split shot rig. Split shot rig. I'm trying to think. I'm literally drawing a blank on this. Let's come back to that. When was the last time you heard about the Mojo rig? Ooh, now that one's actually something we were talking about not too long ago.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the fall, I think.
This is probably the best example. Grubs fell off too. They were hot in the 90s. Single-tailed grub on a jig head.
People still use them for crappie.
People still use them for bass. I still
they
use
do.
single-tailed grubs. I have actually a lot of single-tailed grubs, and it's one of my favorite things to throw in the back of a spinnerbait now.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. And even on the back of a swim jig, it's perfect. But my introduction to a grub back in the 90s, where I lived with my parents.
Yeah, he lives right over here. Used to.
On the pond. And I used to take...
saying to talk grub.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, too. I was taking my mom's dad and my grandfather out fishing, and we were in my dad's little John boat. I can't remember. I was probably fucking 9 or 10 years old at the time. This was back in 94, 95. And we're going by a dock, and he's just like, we're just going in. We're going to fish another spot. And he's just trailing that single-tail grub about 20 feet behind the boat. And we got past the dock, and the thing blew up. And I don't remember how big it was. I know it was well over 4 pounds.
Down here?
Yeah. In
Dude,
that
I've
back
caught
cove.
some big-ass fish in that little pond.
Back in the 90s before, like, because you drive over it now, and you can see, like, especially over Lincoln Street, where, like,
yeah, it's all grown
the
in.
silted has really piled up. That used to be, like, 4 to 5 feet deep all the way through there. Now you can walk through the whole thing.
It's still a little deeper out where the inlet is.
True.
But
like that
the rest of it's all grown in, and it's inches deep.
Yeah.
If not above water.
Yeah. That whole back pond back there near where Nick used to live. That was like 3, 4, 5 feet deep throughout the whole thing.
Really?
Yep. And then just over the years, some of the silt running down through the stream feeding in, it built up. The lily pads built, died, so on and so forth. Now you can walk across this just giant landmass. But
that's where I caught my first 6-pounder. Underneath that bridge.
Are you serious?
On a live shiner.
Ah, that's cheating. Okay.
No, it's not. I was 10 years old.
No, you're right.
Thing was huge. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this.
See, Dave, here we go. 15 years ago, a 7-inch curly tail worm on a Texas rig was my jam. Haven't thrown it probably about 15 years. Buddy, I still throw that every summer. Speaking of Texas, what is your favorite thing to Texas rig? Like traditional Texas rig, little bullet weight, soft plastic, hock it.
Probably like a flapping hog or something. It's funny because I was actually just watching our tournament on Highland Lake when I was throwing the what was that? Was that a flapping hog?
No, that was the it's the Berkeley one. It's not flapping hog. Oh my god.
Oh, what's the name
The
of
Havoc?
that? No. I don't remember.
I should watch the chat. Someone's always going to come up with the name of it before we
I remember.
remember.
It's just, it looks like a tube with little arms coming out the side of it like this. And it
Oh, dude, what the
brush
hell?
hog.
Is that what that was?
was the baby brush hog.
Oh, from Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually remember buying some, like, they look like giant tubes and they had little arms on the side too. I thought you were talking about that for a second.
Kind of. They kind of look like that.
Kind of. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Yamamoto. Yeah.
Pit Boss, maybe? I don't know.
Pit Boss is what I was thinking of. Thank you, both Scott and Mike. But no, you're talking about the Yamamoto flapping hog.
Yes.
Yeah. That's, no brush. That's what it was.
Was it a brush
hog and zoom? Because back then, that's like all I was throwing. When it came to like flipping soft plastics like that, Texas rig, like lightweight stuff, we didn't want to throw a worm, we didn't throw a lizard. The brush hog was what I was throwing from Zoom.
Ooh, I do like Texas rigging, the Rage Crawl or the Rage Bug.
Oh my god, weird.
I like Texas rigging and everything.
Trying to keep up, I promise. No, it's fun. And like to Dave, like I still literally have like a whole tub full of 6, 8, 10, and 12-inch just ribbon tail or curly tail worms. And I, like, especially on a Carolina rig, that is my favorite thing to do in the summer. Absolutely still is one of my favorite things to do. There's something so satisfying. It's like fishing a different style kind of jig, but I fish it almost the same way in a lot of those cases. Then you go up on Champlain and you like power fish it through the veggies like we did, not last year, the year before. God, the hit's a little different when, a 4-pound smallmouth comes blasting through veggies in 10 feet of water in the middle of the summer and just smokes your Carolina rig.
Yeah, that's really, really fun. It's a lot of fun.
People throwing that whopper plopper more now. Yeah, and like there's nothing wrong with that. It's great bait. We've caught big fish on it. I mean, my biggest is a little over 5-pound largemouth, which was like literally 30 seconds after I said, I never catch big fish on this.
Literally did.
There's a video of that. It was on Winnie 2 years ago.
Was that tournament? No.
No, it was the weekend before.
That we were pre-fishing.
I wouldn't even call it pre-fishing. We just went up there to like fun fish and have fun. And we got on like such a good pattern. We were like,
I think we each got one over 5 that day.
we did. And then we had a couple of 4s and like a ton of 3. Like, dude, we had a good bag that day.
We did.
And then we're like, it was only a week away from the tournament for New Hampshire Bass Nation. I was like, I bet you we can replicate that. We could not replicate that.
No, that was a tough day.
That was a tough
We
day.
had like 14 pounds.
Nothing's worse than the last one we did up there, though. Where like I thought I found them all the way down in like Paugus in that area. We had a low number. We made that run. We got ahead of everybody. We pull in. There's only 4 freaking pleasure boaters, like just weekend anglers fishing in there.
Yeah, and then we went up. Yes, okay.
And I was like, well, that spot's done.
We went up where Brian lives, or Brian's house.
Yeah. It's a hell of a run to find 4 other boats. Just, out there fun fishing. There's nothing against it. I don't have a problem with it in the world. I just didn't anticipate that happening.
And then we ended up just catching a bunch of pickerel up in there, and then we're like, okay, we're out of here.
Yeah, and that just...
And we get our shit pushed in, and as soon as we come out of the tunnel by like 4 or 5 foot waves.
Oh my god! And then we waited too long to make a decision to move to transition to smallies. And as soon as we did, with the last like hour and a half, it was like fish.
Catch him. It's like, God damn, we should have done this hours ago.
If we had, I keep thinking about that. If we had made that transition to that plan earlier in the day, I know we talked about it that day too. We probably actually would have made like a decent run. No way in hell would we have won, but we may have made a decent run, at least into the top 10. That's for sure. What is?
I thought that was from me.
It's like doing a stream of the cat.
Sorry.
Oh, hey Mike, I didn't see you jump in the chat. That's fine. My wife hits me harder.
Ooh, lucky.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I love throwing a Texas rig fluke, and I don't see anybody doing that anymore.
What?
Texas rig fluke?
Oh, yeah? Well, you're looking at 2 guys that do.
That is one of my favorite things to do post-spawn.
He does a hell of a lot more than I ever have. But
dude,
he started catching them one day on it, and I was like,
I think by fish
right.
6 or 7, you're like, give me one of those.
Give me one of those freaking things. And then we hammered them for the rest of the day, like another 4 hours.
It's
was
usually
so much fun.
That window too. Like you take a weightless Texas rig fluke and you go up shallow, especially like, I mean, even pre-spawn, I've done pretty well with it, but especially post-spawn, like right up through from post-spawn from largemouth into like the spawning period for bluegill and stuff when they're all up shallow, like just a weightless Texas rig fluke, but I'll throw it on like a 4 or 5 aught like heavy hook, like heavy cover flipping hook or something like that from Gamakatsu. Nice thick gauge thing because it's just enough that it will pull it down underneath the lily pads really well, and you can work it fast and erratic, and it will still sink below all that, but not. It still doesn't sink super fast, but it makes it stay under.
It's like a jerkbait for underneath cover, really, underneath vegetation.
It is, seriously. I throw it on my jig rod, straight 15-pound fluoro, just bomb it up there and just crack the crap out of that thing.
Cast those things a mile, too, for what they are. It's pretty cool.
Well,
pretty versatile.
Now we've got those new ones that I bought, those 7-inch ones. I bought the smelt imitators.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's going to be a ton of fun this summer.
And the base that I just bought, pretty freaking excited about.
The what?
You haven't even seen them yet.
Oh!
I bought you one.
You did? I saw you show me a picture.
Mm-hmm. I bought 2 5.5-inch and 1 7-inch.
Did they arrive yet?
And I think they're coming probably tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure.
Getting the mic again here. 2.5 ounce jig inside his money, dude. That is
Will
seriously.
Snipe silly, bud.
What'd you say?
Will Snipe silly, buddy.
It's actually one of my favorite things to do up on Squam is a 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce football jig inside of a tube and just crack it along on a jig rod. It's a ton of fun. Oh yeah, Mike, we need to come up there. I keep telling you we're gonna come up there. We'll probably be up there actually quite a bit this summer. I'm trying to figure out what the tournament schedule is going to be for us still this year. Did you get the message for the one New Hampshire TBF is the one I'm looking
I
at.
was trying to not drive off the road.
I get it. Well, now
I did see a picture you sent me. I was like, I can't look at that right now.
Well, there's the only problem that my wife reminded me of is one, she might be gone the weekend of one of them, and then two, I might be gone the weekend of another one of them. Basically, the 2 Champlain tournaments.
I'll fish it alone.
The 2 days. Do it.
Give me the keys.
I might be at iCaster in that other one, which is great, but also could suck. Actually, you know what? No, because I'll be back in time for my cast because I'm not going for the whole thing. And it's still not even approved yet. It's like in the approval process for work. But if I can go, I'm only going to be going for like 2 or 3 days. I'll be back in time. So it's just that one I need to figure out with the wife. I don't know. Anyway, we'll be up there a lot more this year. One, because I just want to anyway. And two, we got a couple of tournaments we're looking at to do up there. Not only those 2 for New Hampshire TBF, but also Plunder Bay Open. We'll be there for that.
Ooh, the plunder.
Damn right.
Big old plunder. Look out.
Does anyone still throw a classic jitterbug? My man.
I haven't in a little while, but I still have it.
Didn't you buy that Mondo
It's
one,
the
though?
big one. I think it has 3 treble hooks on it. It's pretty freaking large. I bought it over at Granite State, over at Joe's in Nashua, New Hampshire. I think he had a few of them. But I picked it up, and I was like, oh, this thing is stupid big. We went out that night, and I caught a fish on it. The thing is, it's pretty cool. It's got to be like that big. Like
it's not a small one. That's for damn
it's
sure.
pretty big. And the fucking thing on it's like blah, 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 blah.
It's they took a classic and they turned it into like what is now a new age crawler.
Pretty much. It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the little one's like blah, 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 but this one's like cluck, 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 cluck. It's pretty gnarly. It makes a lot of noise.
That thing got the old Gluck Gluck 3000 action. Chad, buddy.
Jesus.
I hope you're doing well, bud. Did your test come back positive for COVID there? Hopefully you're feeling all right. But you did text me. Another highly overlooked bait these days is a big inline spinner. Especially for smallies. You know what? I've heard so many guys talk about that, and I've never once thrown a giant inline spinner. And I should. Because especially in the spring, you think about it. You're either going to catch a good smallie, or you're going to smoke a nice trout.
Or a big pike.
Ooh. Yeah, see, it just sounds like win-win-win.
Until you're like,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Zero resistance.
Throw your back out with setting the hook on just line.
Scott, right there. Ever use a twin tail hula grub, buddy? All the time. That's my spider jig. That's like, that is my go-to almost all year long. Smallies and largies, especially cold water though. Just a black with blue flake on a 3/8 ounce jig head, twin tail hula grub. That is my jam. I have caught so many big fish on that thing, especially like immediately after ice out, like all over New Hampshire. That has been my go-to for a very, very long time. It's like kind of one of the first like quote unquote jigs I ever fished when I got into jig fishing, just spider jigging.
Spider jig, yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Oh shit, Mike. No, I didn't. I knew he wasn't getting New Hampshire to start a certification on big bass. No, I totally forgot about that. I need to remember to do all that.
Right in your phone.
Yeah, I should. Listening to all this makes me feel stupid for having more than one box. Though it makes it seem so simple to catch them, and we overthink everything. No, I mean, not true. I mean, a lot of these things, they're still seasonal, and you still need, like, different colors, especially when we talk about smallmouth. What's the thing that we always say when we're talking about smallmouth?
Looking up or looking down?
Yep,
Eating up,
that's
eating
number
down,
one.
or color?
And then that's number 2.
Yeah.
Color is everything. They've had so many days where they just change color preference on us. Right in the middle of the friggin' day.
Within, yeah. Could be on one color.
You had hair hanging off your beard. Every time I look over, it's like... Blah, 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 blah.
Yes, color. I could change it, like... We've had it change, like, 1 to 2 times in an hour. And it gets tricky with smallies sometimes. I mean, a lot of the times it's tricky, but once you get the color, like within, like say they're biting, like only green pumpkin. If you try green pumpkin with black flake, you could get a bit more. I mean, I don't know. It's smallies and color is difficult to explain.
It really is. And it's just wild how, again, drastically different it can shift, even inside the single day.
That's why if we had the camera and we turn it around and look at this wall right here, there is literally the exact same bait in 4 or 5 different sizes and in 20 different colors.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So just Kitex alone, I have 12 different colors. Most of those I have in bulk in 2.8 and 3.3 inch. And then some of the other like kind of specialty colors I have from freaking 4.8 down to 2.8. And then on another pegboard, I've got a bunch of spark shads in various colors and sizes, Chuleta, the CHR swim baits, Chuleta Juniors in various colors. I've got working class Zero Citizens in different colors. I've got Beast Coast Creeps. I've got the Megabass Mag Drive Freestyles. I've got 6.8 and 7.8 inch swing impact fats. You're going to just turn the camera. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happens. It's good. It's the only downside of those metal pegboards is those hooks you put in them.
Look at that stupid thing.
So it looks dumb because it is, but I promise you they work in some conditions. We went up to Vermont the very first time we were up there. Yep, and that we caught fish on those. And it was awesome. It was so much fun. There's a giant beast hook with a flashy swimmer version and a 7.8 inch Kitech, and we're catching good largemouth. It was great. Lizard Owl! Finally got to go fishing today. Well, how'd you do? I want to hear it. Kevin, 5 inch Kalen with a 1/4 inch ball head. I shouldn't even. I'm going to put that away. Prayers in the chat. Just stop the absolute F out of my big toe on my bed. Oh my God, Elk.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Brian, back in the 90s when I was a kid, 95% of my birthday money went directly to whatever Denny Brower was throwing. That sounds awesome. Denny Brower is the champ.
You know who was on the MLF I was watching?
Who?
Paul Ice.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty
He's
cool.
a good dude. If you want to swim bait, I highly suggest staying out in the night before the expo opens the doors. It was nuts last year, -0 on diehards. We're in line 24 hours before the door opened. Oh, also during a blizzard. Not just a snowstorm, but a legitimate, good old-fashioned New England blizzard. And people were camped out overnight in tents.
You guys are nuts.
Because they are in tents. I wish I could easily zoom in on his face to show you the pain.
I'm in so much pain right now. Like my back, I'm tired, and I literally have not eaten a single thing today. And then I got to listen to that shit. Dude, the original Jig and Pig. Oh, the pork trailers.
That died off so hard it killed the company. Uncle Josh's Porks. Like I don't know if they actually went out of business, but I think they did. And then someone bought the brand and revived it. Someone's gonna have to fact check me on this because I could be wrong. But like that was the thing. If you were throwing a jig, you threw the Uncle Josh's Pork on the back, and that worked killer. I remember when we moved to New Hampshire, the neighbor across the pond from us, and I still know them. They're fantastic people, and he was like a much more well versed angler than my dad was. But my dad never had an interest in learning more than what he already knew. Is very just like relaxing, leisurely. I loved fishing, but just for the relaxation aspect of it, and still like doing really well, just beating the bank with a Texas rig. And the guy Rusty was like, you should really try and throw a jig and pig. And I remember that summer, it was either 94 or 95. So like we'd only been here a year, less than a year or a little over a year. And my dad tried it, and we went into this little pond where you caught your 7. And he looked at it, he was like, hey, Rusty told me about this. You want to try one? I'm like, no. I'm a little kid, I didn't know anything. My dad fires it out, catches a 4.5. And he was like, yeah, this is great. And that was my first introduction to the old jig and pig. And I have gone through it myself. I used it for a few years, and I stopped because, honestly, they're kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, and I found plenty of other soft plastics that worked. But man, Uncle Josh. Oh, Jesus, Scott. I need to go all the way down to the chat. Holy Jesus, we are far behind. I still got a jar. Can't get the cover off. Rusted shut. That was like the worst part about those.
Hit it with a spoon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Uncle Josh is back. They were having a hard time getting the right quality pork. So I did know they were back, but like, was that the reason they weren't in business for a while? Which is because they couldn't get the stuff they needed? Or I honestly thought that they kind of like went out of business from a lack of people buying them. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
I gotta go back up. I finally see the Ferda. Ooh. I like that. Zoom has just released a new brush hog that has a craw on the back end rather than twin tails.
Ooh, I like that. It's just like an extra large jig trailer.
Yeah. I'm down to clown with that. That'd be good. Ferris. Oh, Jesus. All right, we're catching up fast. Keep it going in the chat. Don't slow down. By the way, really quick, for everybody that's still here, thank you very much. We always appreciate everybody coming out to watch. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. It helps us so much. And like, I know it's one of those things like you hate to hear it being asked, but it really does help immensely. And we just keep going up every week for the number of viewers. So it does work. And we appreciate you guys that take the time to go ahead and do that. And more than anything, for those that shared the stream earlier on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you did it, thank you very much as well. Because that by far, bar none, is the best thing that can help any content creator grow in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter how big or small they are. Like, that helps immensely. So for those that are doing that, thank you. What was it? Mark, Lake Champlain, April 29th to May 6th, booked. I think I talked to Dennis about that. I didn't get a chance to.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
About Lake Champlain. I talked to Dennis. I didn't get a chance to respond to him. I think we're going to be there a week after you, or maybe we're going to overlap that weekend. I don't know. I'll let people know. We'll be up there at some point and tell people, come out, meet us. We'll meet you out in the middle of the lake. Oh, Carl, I didn't even see you jump in here. Hey, friend. Jake Nickerson, those things catch everything. Hey, Sean, thanks. I spent some money. Oh, you're very welcome. He texted me. He's like, hey, I want some Vision 110s. What's your top 3 colors? And I was like, I saw it on Monday, and I didn't freaking get a chance to respond to it until today. And I was like, top 3? Just 3? I was like,
here, how about all these?
Yeah. Perch, and then that like darker kind of like half translucent one.
Mm-hmm.
GP Pro Blue 2. Mm-hmm. And then I couldn't decide either toss up between the Rainbow Trout or Eleggy Bone.
Eleggy Bone.
I would say Eleggy Bone is probably the better choice, but I really like that Rainbow Trout. I really like that for smallies, dude. It just works so good. Damn, Grat, you are a champ. $20 donation,
hey,
dude. Thanks,
dude.
You're the best. We appreciate you.
I hate spotted bass.
Oh my God. Somebody should stream where you give a tour of that. All right. Someday you should do a stream where you give us a tour of that room and all your baits. So that's like a video idea I've been thinking about doing because it would be like really easy to do. And more than anything, it would actually be able to, like, I could circle back on like tackle organization because the last time I talked about that in a video was years ago. And a lot of what I've done has changed, and I've bought so much more shit that like I've had to change how I do a lot of this. Because now, like, I just, every year I break down what I'm carrying with us, like, much more narrower seasonal focus, like water temp based. So now my storage has to keep up with all of that. I don't have a lot of any one thing except for maybe my Kitex and jigs.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of random stuff because there's like narrow windows where all this stuff plays really, really well. I'm going to have I literally have 3 pegboards over here right now. They're all dedicated just to Beast Coast. Not the creeps.
I mean, this wall is like it's all shelving, but it's all like divided shelving. And this is just one little section right here.
Here, no, just here. I'm gonna do it.
These are like.
Can I do this?
There you go. There we go. Like, okay, I can put these back now.
Yeah. I got the pegboards going. We're getting there. It's a disaster.
And there's still more out there. Like, out of this room. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, now I gotta fix this. Good lord. Why don't you even show the other wall? Whatever, that's all you get. Sneak peek. Did I put that back right? Hope I did. I don't have a lot of tackle in my basement. That's not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. Carl, I'll never forget, watch my dad catch his PB on topwater. That's awesome. I've watched my dad catch a lot of big fish when I was a kid. Made me very envious. That made me very proud when I could finally catch up to him.
I never did.
It's because your dad didn't want to fish with you.
I know.
Here we go. Dan, the new KVD jerkbaits are fire from Strike King. Ben's will have lots of Strike King stuff at the New England Fishing Expo. That's good. I was thinking about getting more jerkbaits anyway for this spring. More non-mega bass ones. Because I have a lot of mega bass. I don't really need any more, but I still want to play with different actions and stuff.
A website. I forgot the name of it. Shit. I have it written down at home because I knew I'd forget it.
Of course you would.
It's a Japanese website with a bunch of jerkbaits. They have a lot of mega bass stuff, but they also have like an entire inventory of used stuff, used swim baits, and used everything. Really? Everything you can think of. It's pretty cool.
That's a bit better. I guarantee you Dave is listening right now. And
he probably knows exactly which one I'm talking about.
More JDM tackle? Yes, please. Keep the I'm just curious, like what other things have we not talked about that are like really well known or previously well known techniques or baits that like they just stopped being made because people stopped throwing them. And they got replaced by other things. I know there's something else we're not remembering.
What, baits?
Yeah. Baits and or like techniques. I mean, like, tube is one that I feel is really starting to, has fallen off the wayside. Maybe not as hard as...
What about those jointed jerkbaits?
Oh, my God. Do they even make those anymore?
I think they do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Brian Weedless Johnson spoon. I just saw that. What'd Cam say? I'm hyped to spend money at the Beast Coast booth at the show. Yeah, dude, bring a lot of money. They're going to have a lot of good stuff. MD, anyone else think the mag drive is terrible? Yes and no. Depends on what you're doing with it. But yeah, it can be pretty beat up. Dude, I screwed up that camera. I got to fix that.
I think it's fine.
It's not fine. It's bothering me. Oh, here we go. Ever try a fluke on a belly-weighted swim bait hook? No. No, I have not.
I haven't. I mean, have I? No. No, I've weighted Texas rigged them for like punching down into lily pads and stuff, but I've never actually put like a belly weighted hook on them.
That's still dumb. There we go.
That's better.
It was really bothering me. That's what I get for touching it. I know I definitely haven't. Alec, you might want to get there fast. Dude, his like Friday he usually does pretty good. Saturday he gets cleaned out. By Sunday there's not much left.
But yeah, Sunday morning he's behind the big Beast Coast like banner thing like literally tying jigs as people are buying them out. It gets ridiculous.
Oh yeah, so Mike was down in Florida fishing with his friend, and he saw Jacob Wheeler down there with his new Nikon boat.
Yeah,
I forgot to show you. You sent me pictures and a video of it.
Who is
Jacob Wheeler?
Oh yeah.
And
no, who's down there?
Mike,
New
England Bass Assassin, the
yes,
guy we bought the drone off of.
Yes.
He sent me pictures and a video. That boat, it's actually a really nice looking boat.
It?
Oh yeah, dude, it's really nice looking.
It
I'm
looks
impressed.
weird, but it looks like it worked really well.
Seeing it, like actually being able to see it like from a normal perspective, not like a marketing perspective. Changes your perspective on it. And like, because when I saw and they announced it, I was like, nah, like I don't take any of those like marketing releases too seriously because it's always over glamorized.
Oh yeah.
But actually just seeing it off somebody's phone, like pictures and everything, I was like, oh shit, that's actually a pretty sharp boat. I was impressed.
Wonder what they're gonna sell them for.
A lot, like everybody else. It's probably $100,000 boat. What did Cam say? Ever try a fluke over cane piles on Lake Hartwell and see them chase it off the cane pile to the boat and sit under your tow motor and don't eat anything because they're stupid? Same. I hate spotted bass. All right, I finally got up to that point. Ooh, underspins, overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Underrated. Because
Sure. People throw them, but not as much as they should be.
no, and you know what? Like even I'm guilty of that
Same.
because I only think to throw them when we're trying to cover like open water, like when we're looking for suspended fish.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that at all. There's so many different ways you can fish those things.
That's a fun bite.
But that's the only way I'd like not have confidence in, but like I feel like that's the right application the way that I want to fish it.
Oh yeah,
Like 50, 60 feet and just slow rolling it.
yeah, and it's a ton of fun, and I can't wait to really do that this summer. Now that we have active target, get out there on some of these like deeper glacial lakes with a ton of smallmouth. Just start scanning around, looking for those wolf packs roaming around. Fire one of those things out in front of them.
Oh, it's gonna be sick.
Dude. 3/8 ounce underspin. Let's go. What did Dan say? Loaded for Bass makes a synthetic Uncle Josh type trailer. So does Samatus Baits. He makes the same thing.
He makes those little chunks too.
Yep. He makes good stuff. Hook up tackle, weedless. There it is, Brian. Weedless Johnson spoon. Hair jigs. Hair jigs. Would you really consider that to be fallen by the wayside? And if so, what would it be replaced by? Because I don't think it's fallen.
I don't think so. I mean, I know a lot of people still throw them.
That's like a staple in tournament anglers'
Right.
arsenal when it comes to ice out fishing up here. But outside of like a lot of those tournament focused guys, I'm not sure how many other people are really slinging them. I would assume a lot though. I'm thinking that one might be on the hairy edge.
Shut up.
You have had too long of a day and not enough food to put up my shit.
I know. Well aware.
You're so welcome. Gordy, how about the banjo minnow? You're not the first person that said that. That was always Robbie that was making the jokes like
About
early
banjo
on,
minnow,
like
yeah.
last year. In the first like 30 episodes we were doing this. He just kept talking about the banjo minnow. We should just buy a bunch. We should go out there and have a banjo minnow day.
We should. It'd be fun. I remember when that thing came out, they used to have the commercials about it.
Yeah.
And it was always like a fish, like a bass in a fish tank eating it. Be like, well, Mom, look, see, they do work.
Good old Anchor City. Oh, Dixie Fish and Wacky Rig? No. I would think that's still incredibly popular. Unless you're talking that was replacing something else. Wacky Rig is still like too many people throw Wacky Rig. We always joke about it that we know like how to go out there and you look at somebody's boat and there's a bunch of Wacky Rig Senkos like, oh, that bad, huh?
Well, sometimes just what they're eating. Like, that's just the ticket.
Oh yeah.
That profile, the speed it falls, that's just what they want.
Especially in the dead of summer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally have 2 5-pounders in 2 tournaments over the last 2 years on a Wacky Rig Senko. Just because, like, that's one of the best things to throw in those freaking Bluebird Sky, dead slick calm, hotter than hell condition days. Big old profile, really slow fall. Literally, during the intro of the video for the streams, the last fish that I caught, that was no, it was a high 4. That wasn't a 5. That was like that. I was having a tough day. You were on him that day. We were up in Vermont with Robbie, and we were cracking out on that deep grass on the jigs all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And end of the day, I slung that 7-inch Senko up underneath the
Oh,
boat
yeah,
with that steep drop.
Yep.
And the biggest fish of the day.
That was 5 something.
I think you're right because I thought you did have another 5. that was that 5-pound 5-ounce. I think I'll have to go back and double check the post. But yeah, Wacky Rig Senko. I got nothing against it. I tell you what, if I'm fishing a tournament, you best believe I have one tied on. It'd be stupid to go into a tournament and not have one tied on.
Yeah.
Do I want to use it? No. But I don't have any. I'm not too proud. I'm going to throw whatever I think is going to be the best thing to give me a chance to cash a check.
If it puts a big fish in the boat, I'm using it.
Yep. Alec, you let me know what it is you're looking for from Beast Coast, and I'll see what I can do for you. Make sure they tuck some stuff away for you. Oh, geez, I'm still trying to go through bottom crawl and under. Ooh. Bottom crawl, that underspin, blade ticking off the rocks. Yeah. That's a really good idea. Why didn't we think of that?
What? Bottom crawl, that underspin, blade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it works.
Yeah, Gordy. We know a guy that does that too. A friend of mine will bounce an underspin off the bottom of the lake ice fishing and catch Lakers.
Yeah, I was doing that last year, trying.
Yep. I've seen tactical bassin fish the 5-inch underspins shallow, kind of similar spots you'd fish a chatterbait in. So kind of want to try that. Yeah, dude, like that
It's like a
makes all the sense in the world.
It's like a flashy swim jig, really.
It happened so much. It happened so much I started getting banjo minnow ads on my Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I did too. It was pretty funny
Same.
though. Michael Bradley, float and fly. Have you ever fished a float and fly?
I have not.
Do you know what it is?
For bass.
For bass.
I have not done it for bass.
Dude, this is something I read about probably 12 years ago when I first heard about it on Bass Boat Central on the forums, and I came across it again when bassresource.com was my Bible, when I was really trying to learn everything I could. And I remember reading about the float and fly, and a lot of guys down like Dale Hollow for smallmouth and water get down like 45 degrees, like that was their jam. And they would kill it on that thing. And I've been meaning to try it for the whatever 10, 12 years ago there was that I read it, and I still have not thrown the damn thing. I don't even know anybody up here that throws it. And if they do, they probably aren't talking about it.
Yeah, probably not telling anybody. Not a lot of people know about it.
We should do that next time we go out. Dude, I can literally think of a dozen different places where that would probably like excel.
Everywhere there's smallmouth.
Tell you what, if we can get out Sunday, I'm throwing that.
Okay.
We got to float and fly. Does anybody else here actually use one like on a regular basis? And by all means, if you don't want to talk about it, just stay quiet. You don't need to say anything. 2022, the 5-inch Sangos didn't seem to be working as well as usual. 6 and 7-inch were the deal. Even going back 2 years ago, that was the thing. Ooh, I like this from Gav. Which month do you think you get your first 5 of the year? Confidently, I can say March. I'm hoping for February.
What month are we in now?
January. If anybody's going to do it in January, it's going to be him. I tell you what, I can think of a place. If we can go down to that place we're supposed to go to this past Sunday, down in Mass. You don't remember, do you?
Dude, it's been a long day.
Okay.
I have no
If we can
idea.
get down there, like the chances of it are actually pretty good. In the sense that there's enough numbers of that class of fish down there that if we get into them, I think one of us will break 5.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
A little shallower.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Should be able to.
I think so. I think February, though, I feel
It's
pretty
going to be a
confident.
grind, but
Yeah, when isn't it this time of the year?
I know.
Then again, we don't really, I mean, we've literally only fished this time of the year, what? A
Handful of
dozen?
times.
Like 12 to 15 times total in our lives? So it's like still a lot to learn about sub 40 degree water temps. It's a different animal.
Yeah, for sure.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, there you go, Mark. Hair jig's usually the first thing I throw when the season starts. There you go. MD, I've used float and fly for trout.
Yeah, that's what I've done it for trout.
Yeah. Sir Altitude, this is the same thing. Dixie fishing, steelhead, big browns, and salmon in New York, float and jig. Ooh, JJ Fish. Any more test tank stuff for the stream? Yes, that will be soon. We actually have one guest for sure lined up. When the hell did I have him? Did I tell you a date on that?
I think you did. It's going to be a good one.
I missed this. Dan. Damn. Thank you for the donation, buddy. Appreciate you.
What the hell?
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
That was
Thanks for him.
phenomenal. You guys are killing it so far. The two of you that have donated tonight. This is
Right?
fucking awesome. Hang on. I have a guest. Should I tell people?
No.
No. Be a surprise.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
Holy crap. I talked to too many people on Instagram. There he is.
Go to me. Oh, there he is.
February 8th. And with this guest, smallmouth hammer, out in, do I even say where he's
Where
from?
the hell he's from? Yeah.
Midwest. So we got a Midwest angler coming on, but he's like northern Midwest. Absolute fucking hammer smallmouth guy. But he knows the shit about largemouth too. But anyway, he's going to come on and we're going to talk about like ice out smallmouth approach. and talk a lot about baits too. So we're going to have him on, and for that, we'll bust out the test tank. We're going to be doing the same thing for largemouth. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And I have other ideas brainstorming, but it's one of those, if we're going to bust out the tank, it's got to be something where like we're going to really utilize it for most of the stream, because it's just such a pain in the ass to go upstairs, get it filled, get it down here, get the extra camera set up, get that set up inside the stream. It's not like too hard, but if I'm going to do it, I want it to be like, well, worth the time. You know what I mean? But we'll get it back. Drop shot with a Berkeley flatworm is my tried and true method year round, especially this time of the year. If you're not throwing a Beast Coast Magic Flick, you really, really, really should add that to your arsenal. That's literally the first bait I ever used from that company, and it still is our go-to drop shot bait. And it outfishes even the max scent flatworm, for at least for us up here, more often than not.
What, the Magic Flick?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's stupid good. But flatworm is also phenomenal, and I use that in a bunch of different ways. I should start using it on my jigs recently. It's pretty good. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Wait, nobody else ever used the flying lure that was in the Senko of the early 90s? I don't remember that. Do you?
I don't remember the ride over here.
Did you finish drinking that yet?
No.
Chug it.
I know.
Oh my God.
If we get Mark Zona on, yeah, that would be sick.
My 3 top choices, in no particular order, for people I want on this show as far as like professionals go: Mark Zona, Brendan Polnick, and Seth Fider. Because those are all guys that have done extremely well fishing both up north, where they cut their teeth on it and still live.
Literally everywhere.
But also down south. But those guys grew up and cut their teeth fishing in the north. Mm-hmm. I would kill to have any one of those 3 on the show. And at some point, I will shoot my shot and figure out however the hell I can to approach that and send the invite. But I also want to continue to grow this and get to a point where it's like worth their time. You know what I mean?
Just see it and be like, oh, another podcast.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those, like, I guess
I feel like we're pretty unique in what we do up here. So, we're literally one of the very few podcasts or live streams up in the northern part of the country, especially in the Northeast.
Especially in the Northeast. You're talking about the Northeast. We are, in my humble opinion, for a show that is on a regular basis, probably the most knowledgeable people doing it. I know there's a couple of other guys that have done it that are definitely smarter than us and more successful in tournaments, but
in tournaments they don't want to blow up their spot though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they
so
kind of contradicted themselves doing that.
They did, and it was really short-lived things, and like they were there and then they were gone, and it is what it is.
It's like those tournament guys; they don't want to spill all the juice because that's what's making them money. We don't care. It's like we're out there to have fun fish, and we'll pick up a couple tournaments here and there, but we're trying to help you guys catch fish too.
Just I have a buddy. Cameron, I will love you long time if you can make that happen. Cameron, please, yes. Cam, yes, make that happen, please.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That would be awesome. Honestly, no Bill dance. Wait,
we should talk to Jerry.
So I know we can make that happen.
Jerry and him on. I think that would be good. Because it'd be funny.
It would be. Yeah, you know what? That'd be kind of cool. It doesn't always have to be northern based, right?
No.
That'd be cool shit.
He's fishing to the north. His son
true.
loves Champlain.
Everybody loves Champlain.
I know.
If you guys haven't fished Champlain yet, you need to make that happen.
You do.
It is
it's
by all means.
just go. You're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna see so much stuff, whether it's like all the different species of fish that you can catch, or just seeing drum and gar swim by your boat, and like the crazy birds that are coming down and eating fish right in front. It's wild up there. It's a whole different. Just go. If you can get up there, go.
Does anyone know the total number of unique species on Champlain? Because I think it's 90 something.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, it's either high 70s or high 90s. I can't remember, but I know we looked this up when we were there last year.
I mean, you could catch muskie, you can catch gar, you can catch drum, you can catch catfish, walleye, smallies, largies, big perch, white perch, yellow perch, like anything
Gar?
you want. Bowfin, like literally anything you want, you can go catch up there.
Help me out. What's the big bottom frickin' thing we saw at the St. Lawrence River? I can never remember the name of this fish. It pisses me off.
Drum?
No.
Carp?
No, the bigger, longer goddamn
Sturgeon?
things. Thank you, sturgeon. Why I can never remember that name? I don't know. I'm retarded.
There's there's sturgeon there
There's
too.
sturgeon in there, dude. Like it's,
93 species.
So like, see, JJ got that faster than you. He's even got the delay working for him. Thank you.
My brain is a delay. It's like this thought gone. Oh wait, it's back now.
So like everybody says, they like most bodies of water. There's like 90% of it is dead water, right? And like that's obviously an over exaggeration, but kind of paints the picture of like how much water you need to go through to find the productive good stuff. Champlain is a little bit better than that. Like if that were true, where 90% of any given body of water is dead water, and you need to figure out where the last 10%
Champlain
is really.
I'd say somewhere between 55 and 60%.
Yep. It
Somewhere
is
in there. It's
stupid how much
ridiculous.
good fishing there is up there. It's like it's almost impossible to pull up and not find a productive spot on that body of water, as long as you're not out, hundreds of feet of water.
which
you can-
and then still you can go catch giant Lakers, like, you can literally burb anything, whatever the hell you want to catch.
Big walleye. People can catch some big walleye right now up there.
I know.
I would love to go up there and catch walleye. That's really what I want to do this Sunday. I want to go back to Champlain. But we got to see what the snowstorm does.
Yeah.
Probably, dude, how cool would that be if it just shifted right below it and just like...
Wait, is Champlain technically a Great Lake?
I don't know how that works. No, it's not. It technically used to be part of that
Because
basin.
technically it's connected to the St. Lawrence River, which is connected to Lake Ontario.
That's true. We need
I don't know.
We need to get further through the chat, but I did see this from Dixie Fish, and I want to do this. Top 5 confidence baits, smallies, and largemouth. Go.
What?
Top
That
five. Top 5 confidence baits, smallmouth, and largemouth.
Jig. Depths 250, depths 250. There, I win. No, probably, jig and depths. Jig and glide, I'd have to say. Chatterbait.
And we got to talk about that.
Damn, there's so many baits that I like to throw that are all, I have confidence in all of them. Just in different times.
Right. That's the hard thing. It's like trying to pick top 5. I got to pick top 5 per season.
I can't. I don't even know I don't even think I can do that.
Best we can do is give you our top 2. That's like all year round. I can make work. Jig for both. Number 2 for smallmouth, we drop shot. Number 2 for largemouth. Texas rig. Yeah, just Texas rig, soft plastics in general.
And then jerkbait for both.
Yeah, I would put that number 3 for both of them.
Carolina rig.
Yep. And then I would honestly... Oh, okay, recency bias. I'm going to put the bladed jig over the spinnerbait for largemouth. But historically speaking, spinnerbait over the bladed jig.
And for smallies, another one.
Ned rig.
Okashira.
You going to put the disrespect on the smallmouth version of the Senko, the Ned rig?
I never use it. I literally never throw the rig.
I use it too much. And tube. That's my other
You
smallmouth
throw it,
go-to.
I'm like,
Hey, you know what? It's
I
not
think,
one of those. You got to put fish in the
I
boat.
think there may have only been maybe 2 times that I've gone out fishing by myself that I've thrown the Ned rig. And the only reason was because Kristen bought me Ned heads, and I was like, well, I got to use them. So
Yeah.
I don't like it. Obviously it works and I like it, but I'd just rather not throw it. I'll leave it for somebody else to do.
Oh, there we go. Mark. I actually had my best success drop shotting last year, the Smattis shot on Kenwood. That's awesome. I did see one from Lisa. There it is. But, Alec about Champlain. Yep. 93. There you go. There it is. Thank you. It took me a while to finally see that. But 93 species of fish in Lake Champlain. That is insane. Goes to show just how diverse that fishery is. It's incredible. Lisa, I should know this. I've been to the Echo several times. And they tell me they can't remember it, though. Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. 93 species. Lake Champlain should be a great lake.
Yeah, it is a great lake.
Dun, dun, dun. Dad joke.
I know.
Alec, I appreciate you so much more. So, all right. Wait, here, Cam. I'm hoping to do some more tournaments up there this summer before college. Really want to spend some time in Thai. Yeah, dude, Ticonderoga, I fished up there one time, which comes back to JJ. They hit the south end from Big Larry's. I know a lot of guys that do really, really well fishing for largemouth down there. I've only been down that area once. And even then, I spent more of my time of that day up in Port Henry area, so running back up the lake, than I actually did launching out of Ticonderoga area. And we launched out of the Vermont side. That's an area I would like to do a lot more exploring on this spring. And technically, we kind of have to if we're going to fish the Plunder Bay Open anyway, because that's down that way.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going down there. Kidding me?
It's chocolate milk,
Crack a
bunch of
bunch.
largies, grass.
Yes, I want to do it.
It's right up our alley. Now we just got to figure out where that 50% productive water is. It's all good. It's only about 80,000 acres of water down there. It'll be fine.
No big deal.
What is it? It's 250-something thousand acres. The size of that lake's like 97 miles long. It's stupid. Just stupid how big that place is. I thought they applied for Great Lakes status but didn't get it. Interesting. So, Dan, I kind of chimed in when I saw this. You were hopping in your 30-foot flipping booth setup in Milford, New Hampshire Outdoor Expo with apparel and gear. Okay. I need to talk to you tomorrow about that afternoon. I am in NMEA 2000 training all day, which actually should be of interest to people here because that is what runs the networking inside of your boat. Should you choose to do it that way, you don't have to. You can just run an Ethernet cord to make your sounders talk to each other, but I actually I got to cut the stream short here in a few minutes because I still have a lot more studying to do. I'm in a class all day tomorrow, and then I have an exam at the end of the day. So after that, let me get my brain through that. I want to talk to you about the show, figure out like all the details behind this, get everything planned, because if we're going to really be in the booth and make that happen, holy shit, do I have a lot of work ahead of me in a very short amount of time. And meanwhile, in the middle of that, I'm going to Miami for work. Prepare your butt, sir. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
I want to get in touch with Will Smith and have him sing that Miami song to you all the way down.
It's funny. My wife knows that song oh too well. And she every time I say something about Miami trip, she sings it. And finally last night, Jared's like, "What are you even talking about?" My oldest son pulled up my phone without anybody looking. Hit play. And maxed out my phone. He's like, "Will Smith is a rapper?" I was like, "You are young." Little Rich, what color depths? I have one up there.
Do you?
Yep. See the drop shot shaky bin?
No.
Fuck, you're blind. I'll get it.
Oh. What color?
Well, there's a Bait Sandy one, and then there's my Depths 250 I bought up there. So there is two colors I have had my eye on. Andrew bought the one that I wanted, which I'll let him say that. And then I was able to acquire the one that I really wanted. It's just a good old bass pattern.
I use the rainbow trout.
It's sexy. I really like this.
Because every single bass in this world likes to eat a rainbow trout, whether there's trout in that water or not.
Dude, you caught back-to-back 4-pounders in this tiny-ass kettle pond this past fall that was dirty. When it's typically not that dirty, but it was dirty, that has never had trout in it before. Or at least not in even my parents' lifetime.
And if they were in there, they definitely weren't that size.
No. This is one of my new babies. Finally got one of my own. But I really like that depths. The depths is almost identical to this in size. Sorry, the Bait Sanity,
Oh, the Bait Sanity
Explorer Glide. Actually, yeah, grab that really quick. So if you guys come to the New England Fishing Expo, by the way, in Boxborough in 2 weeks, MGC Fishing will be there, and they usually have a ton of these Depths 250s, and they usually have some really hard to find colors too. So if that's what you're looking for, you really should get to the show early on Friday if you can, and or Saturday. They should have them. And if not, you can at least just go buy them off their website too, or call them. Sometimes they have stuff they don't list. So food for thought, but they are going to be at the New England Fishing Expo in Boxborough, Mass. At the Boxborough Regency, January 27th, 28th, and 29th. Should definitely go. But anyway, squeak. They're actually pretty close in size. That's a shap hook.
I think they are the same size.
They're essentially the same size, which is kind of funny because the Depths is listed as a 10-inch bait, and the Bait Sandy is listed as a 9.5-inch bait. They're only like quarter inch off.
Not anymore.
Those are my two go-to glides. I'm going to get some, I've decided. I'm going to buy some bull glides, though. I'm going to talk to Brian.
Don't you have one?
I got that 8-inch two-piece. I want like a 9-inch perch. Another one like this. Or a rainbow. I'll probably get a rainbow, actually, because I have this perch from Bait Sanity.
They have it.
Or Gold Shiner.
Or Gold Shiner.
Honestly, you can't go wrong with either one.
I'm just going to have somebody like graffiti all over the side of one of my baits and catch the fish with it. Just be like, ha, doesn't matter what it looks like.
If you have time, check out the Echo Aquarium in Burlington. That's what Lisa was just talking about. All the species in the lake on display. Well worth it.
Really?
Actually, I want to go see that now.
So do I.
I
love aquariums.
Alec came in second on Champlain this year in my club fishing Port Henry area. That's all the info I'll be sharing on that. It's a great area. Kevin, 125 miles long. Okay, yeah, that's pretty insane. Dixie, ooh, Zoom Fluke crushes for me, legit everything. Zoom Fluke and the Yamamoto, what is it, the D-Bomb? Or the Shad? I forget, whatever the Yamamoto Fluke is. There's so many names, I can't even remember all of them. Those are my two go-tos. They're phenomenal. Great stuff.
What do you like for 5-inch glides?
Oh, Dan, that's because you've been a member for 9 months. That's why you got the little green bubble. Celebrating.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Dan.
Was Jake, what do you like for 5-inch glides or don't bother? Go 7+. This is the man you need to talk to right here.
Don't buy it. I mean, that's just my opinion. I have a bunch. I probably have 3 or 4 glides that are like in the anywhere from the 5 to 7-inch range, and I just won't throw them. They don't feel right to me working such small baits when you're in working something where I'm used to throwing this and going from this to the teeny tiny little bait, which, I mean, chances are you're going to catch more fish on that, but that's not what I'm going for.
True. Wimpy. Hefty.
I had one of these. I had this exact bait.
Isn't that the 175?
I think so.
It's on the belly.
You're right. Yeah. I had this exact bait. I just gave it to my nephew. I'm like, I'm never going to throw this unless I did something stupid, which I was going to do. If you've seen that video of the dude throwing the 2 glide baits on like almost like an Alabama rig type of setup.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to try that with this and the 250 together, but I was like, it's going to make a mess, and if I lose the bait, I'm going to be pissed.
Dan, you're a champ again. Thank you very much.
Dude.
See you at Plunder Bay.
Thanks, dog. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if you haven't thrown glide baits yet, 100% go with the smaller ones. They're cheaper, and you'll get an idea of how to work them. And then once you start to get to the bigger ones, then you'll have this somewhat of the same action, but it's just a lot slower, and go from there.
Yeah,
kind of learning how to really work that bait, how you want it to work. Took me a little while to figure it out, but I got it, and boy, am I happy.
The other thing I've noticed from watching him, because I'm getting there, like especially at the end of the year, throwing this, and it's the dumbest thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like I was throwing a lot of these, like 6-inch and 7-inch glides, and even some 5-inch ones before that. And I was like, okay, I can get used to it, but I still feel comfortable because it's like more my wheelhouse for size. And like, dude, I literally never even saw one fish following these, not once. And then the moment I pick this thing up, it's a totally different world, and that falls right in line,
right on his ass, right on his tail.
Yeah, and it falls right in line with everything I've seen. What he's done with this 10-inch freaking glide he's been throwing all year. Literally bought it at the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo in March of 2022, and started throwing it day one. As soon as we started the season.
I have no idea how many fish. I was keeping count, but I have no idea how many fish I caught on it this year.
No, but throw out the fact how many fish you caught on it. How many fish followed it? And that's the biggest
4 times
thing.
as many.
And that's why, like, even now, like, I look at this, and my buddy Dave hooked me up with this because I sold him my Piz at cost. By the way, I didn't charge him an arm and a leg for it. I just sold it to him at cost. Because he's been looking at one for a long time. He's a good dude. He lives that life too. Loves the big bait game, so it made sense. But he was like, I feel bad taking it from you at retail. And he just gave me this. So I was like, all right, if you insist. I'm going to have fun with this. I have some ideas for this that I'm going to make this work. But from what we've seen, the difference between what happens with that versus what happens with this giant 10-inch bait is astounding. Even if you're not catching fish, just seeing the size class of fish that constantly follows this damn 10-inch glide out, or even the bait Sanity, like even this dude, I had a lot of followers on this in the fall.
I've caught 2-pounders on this thing. Like,
and they truck it.
They're not afraid to hit it, so
No.
if they're not afraid to hit it, why not throw it? I mean, you catch 2-pounders on this thing too. You probably catch a 6-pounder on this thing. Eventually, like you will. Like,
yep. I honestly, from everything I've seen, dude, if you want to get into it, go for broke. Get an 8-inch or bigger, because just the number of big fish I've seen follow his glide out. A little bit of time in throwing this, what I've seen follow this out, it's insane. It's otherworldly. The different size class fish that it just calls out.
I wouldn't go. This is your first glide bait. I would not go out and buy one of these. I would not.
No, because when you break it off, you're gonna cry.
I wouldn't even say it's that. I would go out personally. What I did was I got one of these. This is the Arashi. Yeah, the Arashi Storm Arashi Glide. What was it, 19 or whatever?
Yeah.
So I think it's like a 7.25, I believe. I bought this bait. I've had like probably 5 or 6 of these things. And just work it, just cast, retrieve it, and just you'll feel like a thump as it's gliding. And then you can start getting in a rhythm of how you want to crank, how you want to reel, and once you get that down, then I would catch a couple fish on that too. Once you get confidence in that bait, then I would move up to the bigger bait. It doesn't have to be a depth 250. There's plenty of bigger baits. This is almost a $200 bait. It's $190, $180, something like that.
$75.
Right.
And honestly, the action on this is nearly identical to the depths.
It's pretty close.
It's
Those
phenomenal.
sink a lot faster, unless wait.
A little faster. When we were fishing,
It sinks.
Actually, no,
it sinks quite a bit faster.
it does sink quite a bit faster. So you know what? With that, you might be able to play around with the hook sizes and slow down the rate of fall on it a little bit, or do something else, and that might help. And I don't know if that's going to impact the action too.
I wonder what. I mean, they do have different sink rates on these too. I wonder what this one is.
The other thing I was thinking about is
It's a moderate sink.
I don't remember. I'll have to actually look it up. But you know what I'm thinking about with this?
'Cause these are slow sinks.
I wonder if I would throw this on like 35-pound mono. A little bit, so it's definitely heavier, but
float.
it's going to float. It's going to help keep it up.
Right.
And then with
You
that
don't wanna
much
swim like
heavier
this,
line,
though.
it will right. with that much
It's a
heavier line,
heavy enough bait. It's gonna break down.
maybe it won't stretch that bad. I wonder how much stretch there's in 35-pound mono.
But I was using that big game trilene crap, and I'll never go back to it. But I mean,
no,
that stretch, and I still caught big fish on big baits with that.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those like you don't need to reef on that hook set. You just kind of lean into it. It's like a big jerk bait.
Eh.
Yeah,
No, I'm setting
I
that
said you
freaking
don't
hook.
need to. Yeah, Mike, exactly. You and I were talking about this. Same thing with my DS 8-inch floating glide. Somebody follows Drawing Power is awesome. That's another one that I really want to get my hands on. Austin, the bigger ones draw more fish. I don't know why, but that just seems to be how they work. And I just started throwing them 2 months ago. Still haven't caught one on it, but I've seen followers every day I throw it. Dude, it's insane, right? Because you know exactly what we're talking about. You've experienced it. It's crazy. Are those the 100, 170, or $350 depths? 170, I assume. These are, about 170. I think retailing these now is closer to 200.
Yeah, I think I paid $190 for mine.
That was from MGC.
MGC, so it's gonna be a little more.
Yep. 170 to 200, somewhere in there, depending on where you get it from. Totally worth it. I mean, I finally bought one, and I hemmed and hawed about it all season. And I finally was like, I gotta get one. I can't not have one anymore. My confidence just watching Andrew with glides and then going out there and stick a couple fish and just like getting confident in the way I was using it. Although I gotta get a different rod for it. I need to order a Super Duty rod from Lew's. I need another one of those 4 to 10 ounce ones.
Speaking of which, I want to build my own glide this year.
Do it.
I want to make.
I want to see it.
Be a little bit bigger than this.
MD, bait sanity slow sink will rest upright on its hooks. Yes, absolutely. It does fall like perfectly flat. They really, really, really did a phenomenal job with this bait. For the price point, it's stupid good.
Oh, Dixie, yeah, good call. I completely spaced that. If you want to learn how to work a glide bait, you damn well better get used to fishing a jerkbait and get good at it.
Remember,
It's a lot easier to translate jerkbait to glide bait instead of just going straight into glide baits without ever throwing a jerkbait.
when we had Oliver Nye on from Big Bass Dreams, we were talking about big bait fishing, and he specifically said that same thing. He's like, I get clients out, and they want to like just go out there and they want to throw big glides and stuff. And the first thing I ask them every time is, how's your jerkbait game? And if your jerkbait game sucks, then trying to work something like a glide is going to become that much harder. And then I remember when he said that, and I remember joking around saying, that's why I suck with the glide. Because my jerkbait game is inconsistent at best.
It's consistent when it's not.
Exactly. Wait.
I don't know. My brain works in mysterious ways. Made sense to me.
No, it did make sense. Insulting me.
You're okay. I'm not.
You're all right. Oh, I see it coming up. Hang on. There, I can see, like, on one TV we have the YouTube chat, and the other one we have the StreamYard chat. And the chat in StreamYard lags a little behind, but from Mark again. Do you guys throw any Huddlestons? Yes. Have we caught anything on them? No.
I have not thrown a HUD because I just haven't never bought one. But I did just buy the Defiant Coast Carp, which I am very excited to throw.
I got to buy that perch. I've decided. I need to buy that perch.
You got to throw some variety in your freaking school there, bud.
I do. Why? I bought a
whole
baby
school of
bass,
perch.
and I bought. God damn it. I had the bass and I had the rainbow. Either way.
Perch,
I
perch. Perch. Any jerk baits over
Yeah,
here?
look, and male perch, too. It's a slightly different perch.
Shut the... One trout. One bass. One carp. Perch. You
like
have
perch.
a perch problem, sir.
I bought the Huddleston Deluxe 68 in 2016 or Jesus, no, dude. When did that first come out? 2015? I bought it before you and I started fishing together on a regular basis. That's how long ago I bought that.
Long time ago.
And then I remember fishing with Rafter over in I don't even want to say the name of the place. Where we go and like we just crack a bunch of 1 to 2 pounders. And it's got the canal out back.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember fishing back there and just going to cast, and I tied a bad knot. Gone. So I bought another one.
Hey, you also did that at night one day with the big HUD.
Yep, did that too.
I know exactly
so there's
where that is
there's
still.
another 8-inch gone. And then I bought another Deluxe 68. And if you go back into one of my earlier videos on YouTube, this was 2017. November 2017 is the day it happened. I don't remember when I uploaded it. One of the best days largemouth I've ever had fishing solo. I had a 5-pound 15-ounce, a 5-pound 5-ounce, 2 4s, and a really heavy 3, and I lost another 4.5 on that Deluxe 68. But the smaller of the 2 5-pounders I caught on that Deluxe 68. That was back in 2017, and I had that other bait like
he
2
left
years
work
before
early
that.
and it started to rain.
And dude, it was phenomenal. Such a good day. But I like those, and I like the Defiance and stuff. Like I know what I want to do with them. I just haven't been able to stick a fish on them yet. Not for lack of trying. There was 2 years ago when we got on that was March and April when COVID hit. And my wife wasn't working. She's a hairdresser. She couldn't work. State wouldn't allow her, or anybody else for that matter. And we got on that crazy good wake bait bite for the week. But what tipped me off on that was when out there was my son, and we were back in the little spillway. And I threw out, and like I knew their fish were there because I already caught one the day before. And I was like, I wonder if I can get them to eat that HUD. So I remember throwing an 8-inch HUD back there and letting it sit into that pocket. And I turned my back because I was talking to my son. I had the rod going the wrong way. And I felt the rod try to rip out of my hands at the same time. I heard a I looked back just in time to see this big fat blimp fish turn and go down. My bait just like rolled over. And I was like, oh! I threw the wake right over the top of her head. I caught her next cast.
No, it's not.
It was almost 5. It was great.
Damn. Out of there?
It was great. So, but yeah, anyway, we have them, fish them, not much success. More success on the Deluxe 68 than the 8-inch ones. But that's one of my goals this year is to change that with the 8-inch swim baits, soft bodies. And yeah, dragging on the bottom, that's one of the things that's what I personally want to do with those bigger soft bodies. I want to drag them. I want to fish them like a jig.
I want to drag it and I want to swim it really slow, like inches above the water, above the bottom in very deep water.
Yep.
That's what I want to do with it.
Define, is it 210 or the 247?
I got the 210.
Okay, the 210 is the
I want
8-inch?
to catch something on the 210. I think it's 7 1/4. No, 8 1/4, 8 1/2.
Oh, that's right. They don't even have. Yeah, it's the 210. Because the 247, they do have a 10-inch version of those.
Yeah,
soft bodies.
I do. Once I catch a couple fish in the 210, then I want to bump up to the 247.
Yeah. What did Jason say? Key to the HUDs, especially in the cold, is going painfully slow. If your casts aren't taking 5 minutes to get back to the boat, slow it down. So I've got that Hog Hunter perch, and I really want to try that too. So
Perch?
Eric Morales, the Savage Gear, yep, saw that. Yeah, dude, those real price swim baits, they're phenomenal.
Yeah,
I own
really
a lot of those. Actually, I got a little, check out that to the right of the mic. It's that little rainbow trout one. 3 3/4 inch. So you almost put your hand on it.
It's so cute.
He makes a bunch of them. I get this little guy. 3 3/4 inch rainbow. I keep throwing this for smallies, hoping it's going to stick. Hasn't yet. It's gonna though. I'm telling you. That's going to be fun when it works. Anyway.
Dude. I know where to throw this.
Uh-huh. There's a bunch of places I want to throw that.
On the flats.
All right, 9:30. Tell you what, this has been a phenomenal night, and we ended up going the whole night talking about almost essentially one kind of topic just by pure happenstance, and that was fucking awesome. You guys are the best.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was good stream.
I have a long night ahead of me to continue to study, and then I have to be into work very early tomorrow. So now we're going to call it quits a little earlier than I normally would, even though we're having a great discussion. So thank you all very much for coming. Trying to think ahead. There is going to be episode 100 coming up here really soon. However, the week that we should be having it, or maybe it's episode 99, middle of February 15th, whatever that Wednesday is, it's either the 14th or the 15th. We will not have a show because I had to fly out of Boston at 7 a.m. on Thursday. I can't do the show and be ready to fly out to go to Miami the next day. It's gonna be too much. So we're either gonna move that or just not gonna have the show that week. I'm gonna let everybody know every week, planning ahead, so you kind of like if whatever happens, you are prepared for it. We will be at the New England Fishing Expo. I'll be there. Did you get Saturday off yet?
Yep.
Nice. Okay, we'll be there most of Saturday. Probably all day Sunday.
I'll be there all Saturday and Sunday. I will not be there Friday.
I will not be there Friday. I'll be there at least a portion of Saturday, but it's my youngest son's 6th birthday. So I'm probably going to leave there. My guess is around like 1 or 2, somewhere in that window. But I'm doing a demonstration on the bait tank at 11 o'clock, both Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see you guys there. But, yeah, we'll definitely be there Sunday. If you guys see us, by all means, come up, say hi, shoot the shit. We'll just be kind of mingling around. We're not, if you're going to see us anywhere, it's more than likely not going to be in the Ben's Tackle Shack booth. And we'll be hanging out there, talking with Ben, Dan, anybody that's coming by. I know the 2 Miller boys will be there, both Ryan and Sean. So
Like if you look at that bottom thing, we will be at the Beast Coast.
Beast Coast booth
We'll be at
there.
Ben's. I don't know if any of the other guys.
Striking and Lose will be there.
Oh, will they?
Yeah, Al Cappy is going to be there because he's
Sweet.
one of the sales guys from the sales regional.
Oh, 69mega.com. Oh,
just
Tinder.
in time to ruin the friggin'. You know what? We have moderators here, you guys.
I know what I'm doing when I go home.
Hide users.
Sorry, babe, if you're watching.
All right, it's gone. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching. Andrew, sign it off.
All right, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys next week at 8 o'clock, like every Wednesday. I said that ass backwards. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time at youtube.com/realnorthernbass.
He did it.
See ya.
Have a good night, everybody.